the time of this video, Tesla's stock price touched $1,200 during the trading hours, but struggled to get past that. $1,200 does appear to be a barrier, but once passed, then it's likely we're on the path to new all-time highs. However, it did break the barrier after hours, up to $1,207, which is a great sign. When we get big news like record deliveries that beat expectations, then the market doesn't usually adjust the next day. It can take a week or even two until we reach the adjusted trading cycle, as investors test out new highs and lows. I would first just like to acknowledge what has happened. Tesla increased almost $150 billion in market capitalization in one single day. I'm pretty sure this is some kind of massive record. If you recall, I bought options recently, not only because it looked like Tesla is about to have a blowout earnings and deliveries, but because there were several other events circulating too. One of them was the EV credit, which didn't come through, but we still have some other major events around the corner. Some could even come through this month as well. Obviously, one that will definitely happen will be the Q4 earnings report and shareholder questions with Elon Musk. As for the actual earnings, well, they look to be between 50 to 60% higher in Q4 than Q3. By the way, if you increase your net profit 50% each quarter, that ends up annualized to be 5 times as much over a year. That's how big a deal this is. This was attributed to just a 28% increase in deliveries, which is what I've been trying to explain. The economies of scale that Tesla are reaching means that OPEX is becoming relatively lower per vehicle, in that a 28% increase in sales equates to perhaps twice as much of an increase in net profit. For a company this size to still be growing net profits by that much is unprecedented. Do you understand? Tesla is still very much in the growth stage as a company. It just happens to have already reached a valuation, making it one of the largest companies in the world. But it's only getting started still, yet it's hard for investors and the market to fathom that a company of such magnitude still has such tremendous growth ahead. It's hard to get your head around. It's almost as if there is not enough money in the world for Tesla to reach its valuations that some of us estimate, which is somewhat true, except the economy is not zero-sum. Wealth is created, not taken, at least from companies that create value to consumers, particularly through technology. I'll go through all my financial predictions perhaps a couple of times even before the results. I have a feeling the next surprise we might also get could be margins increasing. What with the increase in LFP batteries being used and the price rises, this could shock the market again. Often there'll be a big build-up to earnings, and then the stock price will fall back down as people take profits. This makes selling options particularly difficult. Trying to time the sale is not easy. It's something I'm also less experienced in, given that I don't sell my Tesla shares. And it won't stop there. We'll have Elon on the earnings call, which is a big deal, as he decided not to do them anymore. So if he's back on, it could be because he has something important to say, or some things important. He's going to give us Tesla's roadmap as to what we'll expect to see become of the company over the next few years or so. We could get all sorts of major updates, new factories or extension plans of existing, the compact model reveal update, in-house LFP battery plans, new growth targets, 4680 ramp-up expectations are some of the most important I can think of just off the top of my head. Yes, that is all major, but it doesn't stop there. We have the new factories too. And if you thought 28% growth in deliveries was good, well, what happens when Tesla triple their capacity in a year? This company has barely begun. It just happens to take a really long time to produce about 1 million times more batteries than the world had about 10 years ago. We need a lot of batteries. Now, Berlin is a little hard to predict, but Texas looks like it's getting very close and might open sometime soon. This is going to give the stock a good boost. Not only that, if Tesla is up and running, well, that means it will be producing Model Ys, but not just any Model Y, the new Teslas, with 4680 structural battery packs and front and rear die-cast molds. This is Tesla's new product. Sure, it looks very similar to the previous, but it's a big difference. We should finally get to hear the specifications on what these batteries are capable of. Not too far off 1.5 years later since Battery Day, the product finally reveals itself. We'll get to see the difference in weight, performance, and of course range. Although Tesla may not disclose the battery size initially, it likely won't be long until we find out how many kilowatt hours they're using in the Model Ys. I also have a feeling that on the Model Y order page, there'll be a new optional extra, 4680 structural pack, for an extra $5,000 perhaps. Tesla will save about $5,000 with the 4680s per vehicle over using 2170s, and then they could add a further $5,000 onto the price too, as it is still a better product despite it costing this. It will be interesting to see. There is so much happening with this company right now. And don't forget about Shanghai. We still need more data on what's happening there, but it would appear to be a good indicator of just how impressive Tesla's manufacturing has become. Then we'll see further improved manufacturing processes in the new factories that should hopefully produce more vehicles per squared foot than Shanghai. Everything is very positive for Tesla right now. The stock price could run for some time. There are other events to come too. Of course, it would be good to see Berlin open, as that is creating a bit of stress with all the delays. We've heard that the semi-trucks potentially could start delivery sometime soon too. The semi-truck is a very underlooked product. When you include FSD in there as well, it becomes an extremely valuable and profitable business. But the event that would create the biggest jump in the stock price would of course be another stock split. I know this is what a lot of investors have been hoping for since about the last split. Personally, unless you're trading, I think it's small-mindedness. It doesn't affect the company in any way, and once all the excitement of the split calms down, investors mainly refer back to the fundamentals again. But make no mistake, it will make the stock jump. And because of how we saw it react last time, the market is going to be expecting something similar again. But could we really consider another split only a year and a half after the previous? Well, factor this in. The stock price was $1,374 when the previous split was announced. After all these other potential catalysts to the stock price I've just mentioned, well, I think it's highly possible that we could boost well above $1,400 even. If the new factories open, the 4680 Model Y specs are as good as we hope, and the financials are 50% higher quarter over quarter, surely those events alone are enough to take us there. I just want to make sure I have some options when the split is announced, which is funny investing behavior, buying options because the stock is high, because it's so high that the split might be announced. If a split is announced and it acts similar to the last, then we're going to see nearly a $2,000 stock price. Now that really is quite insane. Well done to all of you who held through it all. Well done buying on those dips and buying those options and leaps. I have now just about quadrupled the option I purchased back not even 2 weeks ago. That is an outstanding return. And one of my leaps is now up 5-fold. Yes, we may have to weather a storm possibly. There could be some sort of recession on the horizon, and Elon Musk even tweeted about the potential of one sometime this year, or the latest mid-2023. But no one, not even Elon Musk, can predict a recession. But it's best to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So I'll be going over how I'm going to prepare for a potential recession, and also do more analysis on how Tesla will cope through the recession. My hope was that by the time we did enter a recession, that Tesla would have their FSD sorted and or their compact Tesla available. I think these two products would actually thrive in the recession. Although Tesla will likely not have too much trouble in a down market, I can't say the same for the competition. I'm not sure this is good. I want more EV companies to thrive. Tesla cannot do it all alone. If a lot of the rest of the industry goes bust, then that will not be good for the industry. It needs momentum from multiple players in a lot of areas. Anyway, when these kind of events happen with Tesla, it's always very exciting. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.